Hey family, Dr. Dorsey here, and welcome to Next Level Conversations, where we don't just talk about growth, we ignite it. Every time we get together, we dive into transformative insights, breakthrough strategies, and high-impact wisdom designed to elevate your mindset, sharpen your leadership, improve your fitness and wellness, and of course, fuel your success. So whether you're here to level up in business, relationships, get more fit, get well, heal, personal mastery, or anything that you're focusing on, you're in the right place. Here is my promise to you. Promise to maximize your time. Promise to encourage you to take action. Promise you to focus on growth, and I promise you to be in the moment. I need you to make the same promise to yourself. We are here to help you get to the next level. So let's get into it. Hey family, welcome to another episode of Next Level Conversations, where we are inspiring men, sharing stories, and unlocking potential. This is the premier men's growth podcast. I'm fortunate enough to have a good friend with us today. You know him, you've heard his music, you've seen his face, you've probably seen his work on a lot of stuff that you probably don't even know he's touched before. But he's a good friend of mine, man, when it comes down to somebody who I admire for their tenacity and their ambition, somebody who always has something productive to say, and somebody who really, as it relates to being an artist, just continues to be, I'm just a fanboy. But I've asked him to come on, and we're going to have a real deep and intentional conversation about empowering men and share some things as it relates to success and struggles. You are in for a treat. Come on, in the chat, do me a favor and show your love for the one and only Maark W.
What's good with you, my guy?
Hey, man, I'm hanging in.
I don't know how I feel about that intro just yet. We're going to see how this conversation goes.
I'm just telling them the truth. I'm telling them the truth, man.
The flowers smell good. The flowers smell good. I appreciate it.
Got to give you your flowers, man. And you deserved it. But I know you've been grinding, I know you've been working. But even if you haven't been grinding and working, the kind of person that I've gotten to witness you being, it's just a gift to me. And so, salute. But please say what's up to the people, please.
What's going on with you, ladies and gentlemen? It's your man's meticulously multi-talented Maark W coming at you one more time yet again. How are you? And I'm serious. How are you? In the chat, let me know how you're doing before we get into this man-filled conversation.
yeah, absolutely. Just a brief introduction for people who either I didn't say it in my introduction or who don't know who you are. I never met you.
So how can I summarize this? So multi-talented is definitely dead on, is factual and dead on. And so I am a rapper first, then it spawned into graphic work because I used to be a cartoonist. Then it dovetailed into videography. And now at the age of 39, almost 40 in August, I am a game giver of those who are either just getting into or have been misguided along the way in this artistic journey. So that's essentially what I do. Yeah,
man. You're almost 40. Good God.
Yeah, man, we've known each other for a long time. I met this man when he was 18.
Good.
I was either 15 or about to turn 16 at Christ Our Redeemer AME Church. And the person I met then is not the person that's sitting in front of you right now.
Right. That's a fact, man. Time be flying, man. We were both at different spaces in our lives.
Very different. Very different spaces.
I will say it is just in this moment, it's a gift that we both have survived the journeys. You know what I'm saying?
Kudos to that.
Yeah, we still hanging in here. A lot has changed, bro.
A lot.
Yeah, so just looking back over the years, it's a gift that we've been able to survive it. And look at us. I mean, yo, you look good, bro. You look good.
That's you, man. We've switched body types. Because look, man, I remember I was on my fitness kick for a minute, for a minute, and you
That's
kept
crazy.
asking me how much more weight you trying to lose.
Right.
And now we have definitely switched. I'm a little bit more saggier than I'd like to be, a little bit more soggier than I like to be. And I'm looking like I need my chest back, and I need my abs back, but that's cool. I'm talking about you stole them. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you stole them.
Yeah, I did. I have all of them. They're here right now.
Right.
But I'm paying for it. I am paying for it, man.
Oh, it don't come at a cheap cost. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I'm grateful, man. So let's just kind of dive right in, man. We get an opportunity to really say something that will impact me. And I know guys watching, some ladies are watching too. I'm interested in just some conversation around you being creative and what the big vision is for you. Like what in a dream world, what does all of this become?
What does it all become?
So
I get you. At the end of the road, what I'd like to be able to say is I've left a positive staple, a positive mark on the world, and left my family with something they could be proud of and something they can aspire to. Not necessarily just music and that creative journey, but more so the get up and go-ness to do what it is that you believe in, stick to your guns. And if it's crazy enough to have been delivered to you, it's crazy enough to work. Yeah. You just got to figure out how it works and where you fit into the equation. Shorter sighted than that, I would like to be able to go on the road and perform and inspire those who are looking to do the same thing and don't necessarily have I don't want to say means, but the ideas as far as like, how do I make this thing work? How does it look? And I get that every time I post up something. It's like, how are you? Like, first question I get is, who is doing this for you? Mm-hmm. And I say, oh, no, that's me. Mm-hmm. Well, how'd you learn how to do it? YouTube University, Photoshop, one class of Photoshop at Wilberforce University. Yeah. And everything after that, it was just self-taught and trial and error, and really trying to inspire those that think that it can't be done. It definitely can, because everything we see on TV, everything we see on stage, everything we see being presented came from a human person. Yeah. A human person that just had an idea and worked with it until it became something that is what we see in the mainstream. And I'm crazy enough to believe that I can make it look the exact same way.
Yeah. So you have, how long you been doing music?
I always say 20 plus, but let me get a real number on it. Be 40 this year, be 24 years. Am I saying that right? Yeah, I'm saying that right. No, 23 years, excuse me, 23 years. So since I was 17.
So in the 23 years, maybe one or two of the biggest lessons that you've learned as a creative. I don't want to put you. I'm not intending to put you on the spot, but
no. One of the biggest lessons. This is a good one. Nobody's gonna do it for you. Nobody's gonna know. If you get out of the mindset of I can't wait to be discovered, then you'll learn that you have to make the platform yourself. One of my lights just went. Oh no, it didn't go out good. You have to put in the work and make it happen for yourself. Nobody just gives you a thing. You have to absolutely work for it. If you're waiting on so here's where that comes from. I remember I was either just out of high school or I was just out of high school. Rapper by the name of Blue came out, and Below the Heavens. And he had an article in XXL. Now, at the time, I was a big fan of Blue, and I loved everything he was putting out. I did my deep dive on the back history and all his music, and then I read this article in the XXL that said he got a call one day, and it all just happened. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, it was, okay, I do all this stuff, and one day, miraculously, somebody's just going to call me and notice. Getting into it, I realized that's not necessarily how that works. It's not you just do a thing and all of a sudden somebody finds you. It's you do a thing and put it out there, push it, keep doing that thing and keep getting enough people to see it. And eventually the right people will find it, but you have to set it up in order to be seen. One great analogy that I've always gone back to is if your car is broken down on a freeway and you're just sitting in your car waiting for AAA, waiting for somebody to come and give you a tow, give you a push, you're going to be sitting there for a very long time because nobody knows your car is broken down. Nobody knows this thing is not working. But if you get out and start pushing it, eventually somebody driving past will see. Eventually somebody will come and say, oh, okay, you need some help. It looks like something's not right. And then you'll get the help. But again, you have to get out and start doing the work first. So one of the biggest lessons I've learned was nobody's going to give it to you. You're not going to magically be discovered, and you have to get out and go do it. You have to get out and put yourself in a place to be seen.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I was listening to you and I like a lot of your music and everything like that. But before I go there, before I go there, I want to have a conversation with you that we never had.
Okay.
And I want to be as transparent as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these efforts that you and I are going after,
mm-hmm.
we do by ourselves.
Absolutely.
What is the most challenging thing about trying to build something by yourself? Honestly,
honestly, I real talk. There's a couple things, but two in particular that come to mind. Trying to build it yourself. Okay, so first off, when you're building something by yourself, it's only you ping-ponging ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So you have nobody else you can bounce off. If you have the fortunate circumstance to be married, you have somebody you can bounce off ideas. But unless they're involved in the process, they're going to say something that doesn't necessarily line up with what's going to work.
Yeah.
Like, well, you could just do it like this. Okay, by you saying that lets me know you're not really tapped in to the environment. And it's not their fault. It's not a slight. It's just they don't know. So you don't have somebody equally yoked. You don't have somebody, and that's not to say my wife is not equally yoked. If this goes out and she hears that, I'm not saying that. You don't have somebody that's equally versed in the space that you can bounce ideas off of at a moment's notice when you have the idea. So you're really flying blind. Will this work? Trial and error. That always comes back, and it's a little bit defeating sometimes. Like, I thought this idea was really cool, and then you post it and it's like nobody cares. That sucks. The other hand, the other side of what is a struggle is seeing somebody or seeing a couple people online doing the same thing you're doing, not at the same rate or quality of clip that you're doing it, and they're getting all the notice, they're getting all the kudos, they're getting all, and then when they come and kind of stumble on yours, they say, oh, well, this ain't as good as boom. You ain't doing it like, and I'm like, I know I'm not doing it like that person because mine happens to come from a real place. That person is kind of faking it. And this is no slight on anybody I've worked with in that capacity. It's me on my own dives and going through Instagram and going through TikTok and going through YouTube and seeing somebody doing the same thing I'm doing, just not as good. And I'm just like, I don't understand why you get it and I don't. Intellectually, I understand they've been doing it longer. They've been putting in more hours. On a personal level, I'm just like, damn, I know my stuff is better, but it ain't getting no recognition. So yeah, that's a real struggle that I have.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. And it's hard to give your time to a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No, let me say it's hard to give your time to something that you're passionate about, and it doesn't grow as fast as you need it to grow, or as fast as you want it to grow, or like I sometimes wrestle with, am I shooting at anything? Right? Like, am I in an open field? Ain't no target out here?
Yeah.
Shooting at night?
That's a difficult one. You did bring something up though, and I don't mean to cut you off, but something up that I've recently been that it was a light bulb moment When you say something that I need to grow, it becomes, you start moving out of desperation, and you start moving and doing things you wouldn't necessarily want to do. But because you said, I need this to happen, now you are doing things that are outside of your character that you can't maintain for a long period of time. When it's something that I want to do, that becomes a different mindset. So when it's I need, it's desperate. When it's I want, that means my needs are met. I just really want this thing to happen. And it has a different type of attack. At least that's what I've been noticing. Because then now I'm not so concerned about what this will do in the long run, because this is something I want to do. Now, I also want it to get noticed, but my needs are met. So I'm still attacking it with, all right, I ain't got to do it like that person. It's going to take a little bit longer. But again, that frustration still is in line. So it's not like it fixed the situation. It just reassessing the mindset behind it.
Yeah. And that's why I kind of brought it up, man, because sometimes men are in positions where it has to succeed because they put all their money into it.
Yeah.
Because they put all of their time into it. They quit their job and they said, I'm about to go do this full time.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to him. I want to say something to him. And I'm interested in what pops up, because it's a real important conversation. They're like, yeah, man, I see y'all out there doing y'all thing because, you guys, this ain't your main thing, but this is my main thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
What am I? And so, I mean, this is a hard thing for brothers, right?
It is.
Because some brothers are really desperate, bro.
Yeah.
And that's not a judgment, right?
It's
but
not.
You need it to work. Like you in the situation now, like, what do you say to them? Or what are some of the things that you say to them? Or if you were them, what would you say to yourself?
It's something I'm still, I'm still dealing with this. It was an aha moment, I want to say like last week. This is still brand new for me. But it's when you're, again, like moving out of desperacy creates certain environments that in the long run, you're not going to want to do. You're not going to want to live in, and you're not going to be happy with yourself. So what I would tell that person is, what is it that you need from this thing, and what is it that you want out of this thing? And let me caveat that, do something long enough and not getting the results, you'll trick yourself into believing I need this thing. When it is your main thing, I think keeping your intentions firmly at the forefront, and it gets hard to remember, especially when you're in that space where you put your efforts into this project and that project doesn't matriculate into the thing that you really saw it to be in your mind. So when you're doing all those deep dives and it doesn't happen the way you want it to, long enough, it'll become, well, I need this thing to catch attention. And now I'm looking at, okay, this person went viral with that. This person went viral with that. Okay, so if I do that, now let's extrapolate that to, you went viral with that thing that worked. But now you're at a place where you got all the attention and now you're burnt out. You're burnt out because that's not really your thing. That's not really what motivates. That's not what excites you. And now this thing that you originally wanted, that turned into a need, has become something that is draining to do. It's a job. It's the same thing you tried to leave from another place. Like if I left corporate America because I can't stand it, can't stand getting up, doing a thing I don't want to do, I'm not passionate about, I'm going to turn and do this other thing that I am passionate about, and I need that thing to work. Well, now, long run, you got all the attention, you're stuck doing something you don't want to do, doing things that you can't stand, that you have to wake up for, and now you need this to make money. Well, what did you originally want? You wanted freedom. You wanted to do what it is that you want to do. It just takes a little bit longer. And I wish I had a timeline I could give. I wish I had a timeline I could give myself. It'll crack once you do this. It'll crack after 3 months. It'll crack after 6 months. It'll crack after a year. I've seen a lot of what we all see is this person put up a YouTube video and it immediately got attention. We always hear those, what do they call it? Exceptions to the rule, as opposed to investigating the rule. I found myself getting lost in the exceptional stories. What's the rule? The rule is people need to believe in it, what it is that you represent. People need to see themselves in you. If your audience is, or if who you are is a niched down thing, and you know you don't have that many people in your circle to begin with, well, then you know it's going to take a long time for people to even notice you're around. So the stories I like to hear is Mr. Beast put out 5,000 videos before his first one went viral. What's it called? Gary V was in a whole nother category selling wine, and then he switched gears. Who's another one that there's another guy, white guy, I can't think of what his name is, but I really like what he does. He's a producer, and he's been doing this for such a long time. And to hear these type of accolades from him, and you just discovered him yesterday, that has something to do with what you're getting into. Just keep in mind, we don't know people's struggle. We don't know what they've been through. We don't know what got them to where they are. So when I hear people say the overnight success, yeah, overnight could look like 20 years. It could look like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Overnight doesn't always look on the back end the way it's presented. So don't get seduced by the highlight reel. The highlight reel is what we see on Instagram. The highlighted reel is the numbers. Forget the highlight reel. The behind the scenes is where you need to be concerned with. What did it really take for that person to get to where they are and still maintain the person that they strive to be?
Yeah, so that's perfect. That's perfect. When you hit times where you don't want to do it anymore, so,
yeah,
have you hit?
Absolutely, countless times.
Yeah,
I've definitely hit moments, and I've done it. I've taken a serious step to not do it anymore 2 times. The times where I said I'm not doing this no more. And how you feel about language on this platform? I don't want to start using language that
sanitize it for me, so I don't have no issue.
All right, I'll sanitize it. I've had moments where I don't want to do this stuff no more. I don't see the point. Who is really benefiting from this besides myself? What does this all mean? But then normally the next day or that morning, I get an idea, and I have to do it. I have to go and attack it. The 2 times where I've really taken steps where I'm not doing this anymore. First time was when my group Lost Dialect stopped making music together. We're still cool. We're still friends, but things happen to where we're no longer a group. And I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. That time was fear induced. Can I do this thing by myself? I don't have any more peers next to me. I don't have anybody else I could talk to share these interests with. And I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing it. And then I had the idea to go back to school and get my degree in audio pro. And in the pursuit of that degree, we had conversation during that time too. But in the pursuit of that degree, I got fired up again. Like, oh, okay, I want to do music again, because now I'm seeing people with their ideas and I'm hearing ideas. I'm like, oh, I could do this. And then Without Permission came about. Hey, right. The second time I had that mindset was actually recently with back in 2022. So rest in peace to my guy Shy Light. But at that time, we were highly involved in each other's career. What started off as a collaborative effort, what started off as I'm an engineer for his music, turned into a collaborative effort to do a project. And then we both became synonymous with each other. And actually, that was not our intent going into it. We were 2 different entities making music. We happen to make music great together, but that wasn't the intent to be a group, a duo, wasn't the idea. But it got to a point where I felt like I was giving him and this entity that wasn't supposed to be an entity some of my best creative energy, and I felt drained. And I was like, I don't know and I talked to him about it. It's like, I don't know if I could keep this up. Again, going back to the point I made about understanding the original intent. And once you get away from that, we both got away from the original intent. He got fired up. He had a different level of confidence that I wish I could get. But at the time, I'm like, I'm burnt out. I don't have nothing left for myself. So when it came time to do personal projects, I didn't have anything. and I felt like I was done for. But then I got into this meditative space where I wrote in my journal every day. And then in writing in my journal I literally would lock my door off. My wife would go to work. I'd sit. I have the I have the privilege of working from home now. Have been doing so since 2020. I hope I maintain this thing. But I would lock off my door, turn off my phone, put it on airplane mode, and I just write in my journal. And then afterwards, I would write a verse. Just write it, and it would be for myself. We had no intention to be heard by anybody else. And I wrote like that for these songs. I go on YouTube, find a beat. If the beat spoke to me in any capacity, I'm writing to it. I don't know what's going to come out, but it's going to come out.
Wow.
And again, the intention was, I don't want nobody to hear it. These are just for me. I did that for about 60 days. And some of the best stuff I've ever written came out of that. And that's what I'm releasing this year. That again, this happened back in 2022, 2023, but it also that changed my perspective in that meditative space. It became realigning with my intention of originally I just wanted to be a part of the conversation of top 5. I didn't see it for money. I didn't see it for attention. And that didn't necessarily see it for fame. I just wanted to contribute my voice to hip hop because it did something for me growing up. I wanted to be able to provide that for the same person. So in doing so, I regained my intention. And then if what I thought I needed isn't what I want, well, what do I need? I need to sustain a living. So I got in 2020, I got a job. And now I remembered, oh yeah, I can work for myself. The job that I have don't require me to be there every day. So I need to fill up that time with something. I can do this content creator thing. That can sustain for what I need is to make an income. So formulated plan, that gets the job energy.
Yeah.
Let me figure out how to make that thing work so it can make money, but also keeping in mind the attention. I don't need that to make money. I want that to make money because I already got money taken care of. So if anything else comes after that, I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm now realigned and I'm refocused. The music can be a personal thing. I don't need everybody to love it.
Yeah.
I need the right people to love it. Yeah. I want everybody to love it, but I need the right people to love it to get what it is that I do. So that's his own thing. When it comes to his work, again, getting back into remembering like, I want to go viral or I need to go viral, it turned into a need. Well, let me remember what it is that I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to provide the same thing for other people that were in my same situation when I was younger. So it's to answer the question, which was extremely long-winded. I have felt the need to quit even now, many times, constantly have to remind myself what it is I'm doing it for and just really dive into that space. And I'm about to do it again because I had an idea for an album a couple nights ago, but like really dive in. And sometimes you got to take a step back, not a break, not a stop. It's a step back and reassess like, okay, what am I forgetting? Because I'm losing it.
Yeah.
I'm losing it. And I think wanting to quit, wanting to stop is the result of burnout. That's what I think it is. Because as creatives, you can't turn that off. That's the thing. And I know you get this too. You laying in bed, your mind is moving 1,000,000 miles a minute. Well, why aren't you going to sleep? Why aren't you going to sleep, babe? I can't. I got this idea and I want to go to sleep. But if I don't get this idea out right now, I'm gonna be up all night, and it happens all the time. Insomnia.
So you got to get up and get it out.
I have to. Sleep. Right, and as soon as I get the idea out, or at least I get a good chunk of the idea, either written down, recorded on a microphone, some type of way, then I start to feel tired. Like, oh, okay, I must have done enough tonight. I can go to bed now. You know, like it is 5 a.m.
Yeah. See, I don't think people understand the grind, man, and I don't think they get it. But this is why I'm so impressed, right, by what you've been able to accomplish, by what you've been able to do, and how long you've been able to do it. I want to say, I hope you guys got what he said when he said, "I've wanted to quit several times, but he didn't." Right? I think it's important that we also hear that when desperation and need gets wrapped up in passion, it can mess up the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Like, that's what I heard you say. And, it's interesting because sometimes people then, because they are desperate, and that desperation has really messed up something that they really valued.
Yeah.
They throw it away and they don't come back to it. So then they go and they just get a job and they say, I can't work a job and do something that I want to do.
Yeah.
And you've actually found a way to do that.
Yeah. And let me also preface that, because I don't want anybody to hear that and be like, I can, not that you can't, but I also want to preface it by saying I'm fortunate, and I understand that fortunate space that I'm in, that I am able to work a job that doesn't require me to be there every single day. But I did do that. I worked for DirecTV. I worked for Core in what turned into your position, which is was really cool. And I'm glad you took that. I can't say that enough. I'm so glad you took that off my shoulders, bro. I know we talk about that in passing. And he's like, man, I hope I'm not invading. No, take all of that, please. I don't want that. You can have it. Do you want this seat at the table too? Because I don't want that could go a lot deeper. Anyway, the idea that I found a job that is in line with something that I want to do, because I work audiovisual. I have a degree for it that allows me to get paid a certain amount of money. It allows me to work a certain amount of hours. That is not the norm. That is not normal. It's normally seen by 9 to 5. But I do have to say, I think because I realigned my intentions, I reconnected with my creator. I reconnected with my purpose. That opportunity afforded itself.
Yeah.
And that's how I attribute that. Because if I hadn't been in a space where I could really sit and assess, meditate, and contemplate on what it is that I want to do, I don't think that opportunity would have afforded itself. And because I listened, I went back to school. I didn't want to go back to school. I was done with it.
Back to school.
No, and I told my dad this back when I was working at Core CDC. I told him, I said, I don't think I'm gonna get anything I want unless I go back and finish this thing. And to be fair to my grandmother's sentiments, she often asks, when you go back and get your BA. I'm still thinking about that. I have an associate's, but it's listening to what is being asked of you to get what it is that you want out of this space. What was asked of me was get the education. I had the know-how, but I didn't know I had the know-how until I went to school. And I was like, I know all this. I've been doing it for 15 years before I went back to school. I know all of this, but now I have the lexicon. Now I can walk into these rooms with a certain level of confidence that I didn't have before. Like, I know it. I know how it applies. And I got this piece of paper that proves I can do it. So listening to what is required of you will afford the opportunity to get into a space where you can easily do both. But if you keep on fighting it, like, I want it to look like this. That's one thing me and my wife talk about all the time. It's not going to look the way you see it in your head. It'll be what you want. It's just not going to look that way. It's just not. So I had to preface that. I don't want anybody. My camera died. Give me 1 second. Let me switch this out.
You got it.
Yeah.
Man, that's powerful. That's powerful. That's powerful. I can pull so much out of that, man. Just one thing at a time, man. And we're going to get Maark back on here shortly. I hope you guys are getting some from this, man. This is super valuable for anybody who understands that you're passionate about something and you are along the journey of executing on that passion, right? You're putting time into developing. You're putting finances into purchasing things that will help you to do that more effectively. You're trying to balance all of this stuff. And like Maark and I, sometimes you hit a wall and you're like, man, I don't know if I want to do it. And he said something that was really powerful, man. He said, at the point, one of the things that caused him to not want to do it the first time was that the people that he was doing it with changed. right? Like what happens when the crew changes? What happens when your group is no longer a group? Do you still keep going? It's actually one of the things that I probably, some people who don't like me because of this. If I'm making my mind to do something, whether you go with me or not, I'm going to do it. And so I tend to separate from the group really well. But you may not be that kind of person. You may really be impacted by that. Well, in Mark's story, you can recover from that, right? And there is a way to recover from it. And for him, it was digging deeper into the art of it and learning more about it, and then putting himself in a position where he could be around people who also felt the same way. And that then gave birth to the renewed passion and the excitement that comes along with it. Again, to me, that's a bar. Like, I don't know what dream you let go. I don't know what loss kind of has you chilling and not really feeling like you can actually get back to that area of passion. But if you just pay attention to the story, I'm sure that you can. And so the other piece is, hey, sometimes you get there and you feel like you've really exhausted your creativity and now you're at burnout. Like, what do you do when you feel like you burned out? When you're just so tired, you don't have it anymore. You used to like it, but you don't have the energy to bring to it. Like, you love it, but by the time you try to get to it, it's like, I don't have the energy to put into this thing. Do you know how many people that throws into crisis? Throws into a place where they can't recover. Well, if you heard what Mark said, there's so much on the other side of that. And so I want to encourage you to really not give up on your dreams because you hit a couple of moments where you felt like you wanted to quit. If you don't ever feel like you want to quit, you're not trying hard enough. And if you get to the edge where you try to quit and you can't quit, then that's probably the thing that you should keep going. Does that make sense? Right? Like, anyways, yeah, man, we about to get back to it. Let me see if I can get Mark back up here.
All right, you got a little bit more of the visual. I had to change out my other camera.
Y'all good.
I got three of them things.
We didn't see it at all.
I bet. That's what's up.
And so
the magic of StreamYard.
Yeah. Dang, I was gonna ask. I want to do something real quick, and this is how we're gonna close. You are a music hip hop head.
Absolutely.
When you think about like some of the hardest bars that you've ever heard, what comes to mind? And when it comes to mind, I'm gonna ask you what it is. Okay, like what? Because you got to have it in your head. Like, I want to hear.
Oh yeah,
like what is like the hardest set of bars? And who's the artist?
So a couple come to mind, and it is definitely my favorites. The first one that came to mind was Andre 3000, and it's not the heaviest metaphorical thing, which kind of lends to the style I'm on now, but it's What a Job This Is, and it's actually a free feature. His verse on What a Job This Is, and the sentiment of that verse resonates with me so much. We work nights, we some vampires, gather around the beat like a campfire, singing folk songs, but not no kumbaya, my lord. You download it for free, we get charged back for it. I know you saying they won't know, they won't miss it. Besides, I ain't no thief, they won't pay me a visit. So if I come to your job, take some corn on the cob and take a couple kernels off it, that would be all right with you. Hell no. Yeah, exactamundo. But we just keep recording and it ain't to get no condo. Like that whole, his flow, his delivery, it just go back and watch, listen to the entirety of that verse. That is what every rapper, creative, all that thinks about when it comes to getting paid and living off of this thing. So I that was the first one I was like, Not the first one, but that was the one for me. It was like, yeah, this is my favorite verse from Andre 3000 ever. Not just that one. 16 ain't enough, because 16 ain't enough. I don't know that one by heart because that, again, my favorite verse was what a job this is. And then as far as like some of the hardest bar that I've heard that, and again, these are gonna be dated just because this is when I got involved. Pharoah Monch, and it's hard to quote just one song from him, but Pharoah Monch from his Desire album, that was the 7-year gap between Internal Affairs and then comes Desire, and then he has a War, PTSD 2, and then he has a new band that he works with. I think they call themselves 13, but even if you're a Pharoah Monch fan, you know that 13, he has triskaidekaphobia, which is the fear of the number 13. So the fact that he calls himself their band 13 is a whole nother bar in of itself. Become the thing that you fear. So it's, when I think of bar work, yes, we have like the spitters. So my favorite battle rapper is Loaded Lux. Spit heavy. Murder Mook, Daylight. Rum Nitty is becoming a new favorite of mine. Geechee Gotti is dope. But when I think of bar work, not only am I thinking of the tenacity in which they're spitting, but I'm thinking of the mindset as well, because Daylight is a pretty good proponent of this as well. But it's, what mind frame are you in to be able to draw this connection between this real life occurrence to this made up scenario, or this metaphor, or this non-personable entity, and make it make sense, but still retain the storytellership. You took me on a journey and made a connection that I would not have otherwise thought of on my own. And that's this thing I like to do, is like, how can I still make this relatable? Tell my story, but then you also see yourself in it. So with Andre, Pharoah Monch, Loaded Lux, Murder Mook, who else is one of my favorite? Anderson .Paak, J. Cole, even Kendrick, to keep it all the way modern. And there are a couple new cats, but I'm going to keep it at those names right now because I'm going blank. But it's, when it comes to bar work, it's how can I relate to your story that has nothing to do with me? Eminem was the first one to do that for me. I'm not a trailer park dude. I never grew up in poverty. For all those who don't know, I did not grow up in poverty. But everything he talked about in his song, like, how do I see myself in this white trailer park guy? How do I see myself in that? But I do. And because of that, that's what made me go into, like, I want to be able to share my story with other people. They might be able to see themselves in it, regardless of our backgrounds. That's what I love about hip hop. But yes, bar work, Andre 3000, what a job this is. Anything from Pharoah Monch, he's a monster. Who else? Fonte from Little Brother. My older brother, Prime Minister. He's just nasty with it. If you don't understand them, I understand, but it's still gonna sound good. It's still gonna sound good.
Yeah. There's oh man, there's so much that I want to ask there.
Let's get into it. I got time.
Ask there. No, I don't. That's my issue. I'm gonna have to.
You got to spin the block on this one then.
Yeah, I got to get you back on here, man.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have to take that part and use it to go into part 2, because I don't have time to spell out what I just did, and I didn't really realize that when we were adding the time, Elliot. So all right. So then let me do it this way. So Mark, thank you so much. Your contribution is. Bro, I think people are going to play this a lot. I want to ask you to summarize what you really think people should take from our conversation today. Man, like, what is like the thing that sits out like to you from this conversation?
Well, first, let me say thank you for having me. Anytime you call, if I have the availability, I'm gonna make sure that I make myself available. If it's really, and the only time I'm not available is like, oh man, I've already promised that time to somebody else, and you know that. So, and I appreciate you for respecting that. And to everybody that was crazy enough to sit here and listen to this whole conversation, appreciate you. The thing to take away from this one, a couple pieces, but I'll make it either 2 or 3. First one, your crazy dream is not impossible. You were given that vision for a reason. Attack it as best as you can, despite what anybody believes about the reality of that coming to fruition. It can happen. You gotta have to figure out how to make it happen. That's the hard part. Figuring out how to make it happen. That is literally the hardest part of it all. But doing it shouldn't be the hard part. Actually attacking it and doing it. That's one. Two, make sure you always remember what your intentions are. If you got to write it down, if you got to record it and have it as a voice note, if you have to just lock off and just remember, like, okay, I wanted to do it because of this. That feeling that you got when you wanted to do it, you can easily lose it. Well, my third part is when you get desperate. Don't do anything out of desperation. When you tell yourself, I need this, that creates a desperate narrative. So we need water. We need air. We need a place to hang our head. That could be debated, but we need water. We need food. We need things to survive. The dream is a need, but you want it to look a certain way. That part is what you want to keep in mind, because what you need is the dream to happen. What you want is it to look like this. If it don't end up looking like that, you still achieve the dream. And don't think this is something that I am all the way like, I believe in it, but I'm still grappling with it. So I guess the fourth part, doubt is fine. Doubt is fine. Doubt lets you know you're human. Doubt lets you know you're human. But don't give in to that thing. Don't give into it. Yeah.
That's a bar. That is a whole bar. Oh my God, that's a whole bar. That's a whole bar. All right, let me wrap this up. Hey, family, man, I hope that you've enjoyed the time that we spent here on Next Level Conversations. You got to tap in with Maark W, man. I promise you, you won't regret it. One of the dopest MCs that I've ever met, one of the dopest rappers that I've ever met. And he was dropping crazy bars today, man. And he really even convicted me about operating from a place of desperation, man. And it's tough to operate from there, but it's good to know that I don't have to. Do me a favor, man, share this with some people. Meet me back here for our next episode. We drop them regularly, and hopefully you can take this information to go to the next level. Thank you for spending time with me. It's your boy, Dr. Dorsey. Next Level Conversations, where we inspire men, we share stories, and we unlock potential. This is the premier men's growth podcast, and hopefully you'll meet us here next time. Thank you for spending the time. All right, family, that's a wrap for this session of Next Level Conversations. But remember, elevation does not stop here. Apply what you've learned, challenge yourself, and keep pushing towards your next level. If this conversation resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, subscribe, stay locked in for the next one. Keep moving, keep growing. And if you're climbing, I'll see you at the top.